Coming up next on the PodWheels Network, you'll hear the debut edition of the Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. Thanks for making the PodWheels Network part of your day. PodWheels, information that's engaged, insightful, and road-tested.
Welcome to the Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. The Highway to Hope is a podcast that places a spotlight on the important work being done every week of the year by the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. In this first edition of the Highway to Hope podcast on the PodWheels Network, we'll be talking to Shannon Currier, the Director of Philanthropy and Development for the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. PodWheels Network executive producer Greg Thompson connected with Shannon through a Zoom video chat, and they covered a number of topics, including a look back at 2019 and a look ahead to 2020. Now let's go to Greg Thompson for his conversation with Shannon Currier.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for connecting with us for the Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. Folks, we're thrilled to share it with you through the PodWheels Network. If you're not familiar with the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund, it's developed a tremendous reputation since it began in 2007, assisting over-the-road and regional truck drivers and their families when an illness or injury has recently caused them to be out of work. And I have to tell you, we're really looking forward to working with the SCF team, and it's my pleasure right now to welcome Shannon Currier as our first guest on the Highway to Hope podcast. As you guys heard in the opening, Shannon is the Director of Philanthropy and Development for SCF. Shannon, welcome to the PodWheels Network, and thanks for being part of our first Highway to Hope podcast.
Hi, Greg. Thank you so much for having us. We are so excited to be a part of the PodWheels Network and launch our first podcast about St. Christopher Fund. We're happy to share our information. We know everyone is so busy, and you get your information in different ways and at different times. And so this podcast is really important because it's going to allow drivers and companies to learn more about us during the day while they're working, while they're driving down the road, or maybe in the evening when they've got some free time. So we're so excited to be a part of this, and thank you for working with us, Greg.
Oh, you're welcome. Shannon, everybody at the PodWheels Network is very excited as well to be working with SCF and sharing your message out across various platforms. One of the reasons that we chose the Highway to Hope title for this podcast is because of the fact that SCF delivers hope to so many people out there in the trucking industry who are in need following an injury or an illness. So I'd like for you to talk a little bit, if you could, about the work of SCF and your role in the organization.
Absolutely. My name is Shannon Currier. I am the Director of Philanthropy and Development, as we said earlier, and I have been with St. Christopher Fund for 5 years. Basically, I have a big fancy job title, but what I do is I work with people in the industry, companies and individuals, to bring in donations for St. Christopher Fund. We work 100% on donations, and that's how we support the drivers when they are dealing with an injury or an illness that takes them off the road, which of course is going to lead to financial difficulties. It's very important what we do. There are not many organizations out there supporting drivers in general. There are only one or two, us being one of them, that tangibly helps drivers, saving homes, saving vehicles, keeping insurance in force, making sure they have what they need and they're not losing everything because of a short-term injury or illness. What we do when drivers have to come off the road because of that injury or illness, they can go online at truckersfund.org and complete an online application. It's a pretty in-depth process. It's about 7 or 8 pages long. We're going to ask for a copy of your CDL. We're going to ask for who lives in your household. We're going to ask for the expenses that you have in the household. So the money that you have going out versus the money that you have going in. We are going to ask for your signature on a medical release form because we do have to have in the files that you are applying for assistance because of a medical issue. We do get audited for that information. Once the application is complete, We are going to request medical records from the doctors that you provide on your application. When the medical records come in, the file gets taken to our medical director. He is going to look over the medical issue that is noted in the records and give us an idea of how long this person is going to be out of work. Is it going to be a month-long thing, or maybe they've had a stroke and they can't drive for the next year? So the need there is quite a bit different. He's going to give us an idea of how long this person is going to need support. Is it more than what we can offer? Once he signs off on that, we send it over to our team and it is looked at to determine if it's approved or not approved. Hopefully it is approved. And once approved, we're going to contact you and let you know, hey, you're approved. This is how much you've been approved for. We're going to give you your dollar amount. And then we're going to ask you to send your bills directly to us. We do not pay drivers directly. We give money directly to their bill holders. So you'll have to send your bills over to us, let us know where you want your money to go, and then we send the checks to those bill holders. That's kind of a quick overview of what our process is. There are a lot of questions, on the back end that go into that, and there's additional assistance, additional information we're going to give depending on the situation.
The fact is, Shannon, you guys do such important work because of the fact that folks are coming to you in moments of dire need. These things happen and they are life-changing, and folks can get desperate. So it's such important work and rewarding work that you guys do throughout the year.
It is. By the time drivers call us, like you say, a lot of times they might not have known about us when the issue first came up, or they just didn't want to call thinking that they had enough money maybe in savings, or that they had set themselves up to prepare for this type of situation. But that's not always true. A lot of times when we talk to drivers, it is a dire situation. They're in panic mode, but they also may be trying to heal from an injury or illness. And we know what stress and anxiety does when you're trying to heal. It affects that healing process. There is a lot going on by the time drivers call us. One of the largest issues we have is drivers may or may not have insurance. Especially if they don't have insurance, they're looking at large medical bills, like $100,000 or more. And so they get in panic mode about those medical bills, and they call us and they say, I need you to pay my medical bills. That is not something that we do, unfortunately. And the reason we don't do that is because we don't have the money to. If that's something that you're looking for is, oh my gosh, what do I do with this $100,000? We can help you through that process as far as giving you guidance on how to talk to doctors, how to talk to hospitals, how to ask for some financial assistance. There's a lot that goes into that process, and we can help give you information on how to approach those situations and how to talk to people about getting set up on payment plans. We wish we had this influx of cash where somebody said, hey, I've got $100,000 in medical bills. We could just wipe that out for you.
Sure.
Unfortunately, that's not what we have. We do what we can to make sure drivers aren't losing their homes, that they're not losing their vehicles, not losing their trucks, because most of them are going to get back in that truck. But you can lose it very quickly if you're really not prepared for this emergency, unexpected situation.
Well, as you know, most Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And of course, in trucking, there's an expression, if the wheels aren't turning, you're not earning. And particularly if you're an owner-operator and you own a truck and you've got medical bills and you've got a mortgage, you're talking about a lot of pressure. It sounds like you guys have resources in terms of counseling, directing people to resources, and also helping people, as you said, address those bills that are non-medical that will help keep people going.
Right. So we have on our website, if you go to truckersfund.org, you may not need our assistance per se, but maybe you need some guidance in other areas. If you go to our website, we have a resources page, and there's hundreds of resources on there. Some deal directly with specific medical issues, like if a driver's had a heart attack. But there's other things in there that are more generic, like connections to jobs. So you've got sleep apnea and you need help with that. There's things on there to guide you. Hundreds of resources. That would take me all day to go through that whole page. But just go check it out and look and see what's in there. If you're looking for some resources, we have those. They're available for a reason. And these are all people that we know are working with drivers and helping drivers out. Be sure and check out the resources that are there.
Shannon, as we've talked about SCF is helping people all of the time. And January is a time when we look back and we look forward. So we want to kind of do that during this podcast. Right now, I want to look back. I know you have some very impressive numbers to share with us on what SCF did during 2019.
We do. We would like to think we're working ourselves out of a job, that the numbers and the need would not be so great each year, but that's just not the case. We see in either holding steady numbers or we see an increase in applications every year, typically an increase. And 2019 was no different from that. In 2019, we were able to help 349 drivers, and we paid out $501,299 on behalf of those drivers directly to their bill holders for those mortgage and rent, utility bills, insurance premiums, and vehicle payments. That's a lot of support that had to come in that turned around and went right back out. And we could not do this without the generosity of every individual and every company that supports us.
Wow, over $500,000 paid out. That is amazing.
In 1 year, just this year.
That is amazing. Absolutely.
People don't want to lose their homes, and that's one of the main reasons we're here. We just want to make sure that people are staying whole during these processes. We're kind of filling that gap. That's a lot of help for a lot of drivers. It's a lot of financial support. We've been around for 11 years. Since our inception, that brings our total drivers help to 2,805, and we've paid out over $3 million on behalf of these drivers.
$3 million in over 2,800 drivers. That is amazing.
It is. It's a huge number. And I know a lot of people hear the number, how much we've paid out, how much we pay every year. And honestly, a lot of people think, wow, they must be rolling in the money.
But really, when you think about it, somebody's house payments on a monthly basis and all of that, to be able to facilitate that, you guys are very good at using your resources. So tell us a little bit about your sponsors. You guys are donation driven. The money comes from benefactors. So tell us a little bit about the folks that are supporting you.
Yes, we are 100% donation based. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Everything is donation based, and without the support of really the drivers themselves, are our largest support base, because they have each other's back. They are supporting each other by making donations, one-time donations, monthly donations, bidding on items that we have for auction. There could be so many ways that drivers are donating, but they are really keeping themselves covered by donating to St. Christopher Fund. On top of that, we have, of course, corporate sponsors. Fortunately, we were able to retain at least 75% of our corporate sponsors. That is our goal. We're not always going to retain every corporate sponsor. People support us for different reasons, but we were able to retain 75% of those corporate sponsors. And then we were brought on 14 new corporate sponsors in 2019, which we are very thankful for. We need every one of them and more. It's a lot of support. It's a lot of drivers that have gotten support. But the need in 2019 was so huge. We have a budget every year. We look at what we paid out the year before, and we anticipate the need is going to grow by 10 or 15%, maybe 20% every year. And so that's kind of how we budget, because we don't know how many applications we're going to get.
Sure.
We had an idea of how much we needed for 2019. And unfortunately, we came in under our budget. We were $127,000 short of the budget that we needed in 2019. We do have some catching up to do in 2020. Luckily, we've not ever had to turn down a driver because we didn't have the money, thank goodness. But we need the financial support in order to continue doing what we're doing. We know how to budget our money well, and we're so tight with our money. That's why we don't have things that we just give to drivers and throw out. We would love to just shower our donors with swag, fun things. But that's why we don't do that, because if we do that, then it takes away.
Having talked to you for a while and knowing you, I know that the whole concept of this is paying it forward. People who pay it forward are not expecting a lot of swag, whether it be drivers making a donation or companies being involved. So they're all doing it for the greater good, and I think that makes it easier for you guys to pass along the greatest value to the participants.
Absolutely. Nobody has asked us for anything or would ever think to ask us for anything. They do it out of the kindness of their heart because they have big giving hearts. They want to be generous. They want to support the men and women that are out there on the road that are keeping this country running. They want to support them. I hope that a smile and a hug and a thank you goes a long way with every single donor. We greatly appreciate it. We are facilitating money is really what we're doing. We are facilitating these donations and making sure they get to the drivers that need it in areas that they need it. That's really what we're doing.
And I know you also are working in areas of prevention. We'll talk more in the series about Rigs Without SIGs, but can you talk to us a little bit about that program and the success that you saw in 2019?
Yeah, absolutely. So on top of the financial support that we give drivers, we also work on health and wellness for drivers as well. And we would love to expand this side of what we do. But again, that takes support. What we have going on right now is we do free flu, pneumonia, and shingles vaccines for CDL holders. We also talk to drivers about healthier choices. We connect them with people that can give them expertise on nutrition and movement in the truck. But another huge thing that we do that we've seen great success with is our smoking cessation program called Rigs Without SIGs. That started in 2017, so it's been going a couple of years now. It's for drivers that are ready to be tobacco smoke-free. That's what we want. We know there are so many health issues that are exacerbated by smoking. If you're ready to break that habit, we have a program that is ready to help you do that. In the 2 years that we have had this program running, we've had 470 people register for the program. And I'll be honest with you, some people register thinking they're ready to quit and they're really not. But we're still in contact with those people. We still say, when and if you do get ready, we're going to be here for you. But we have had 93 drivers that have quit smoking completely, put it down, walked away from it, quit smoking completely. Some quit cold turkey, some quit using a book that we offer for support, some have quit using the patches, some have quit using the quit key that we offer. But that's 93 drivers that aren't smoking anymore. And then we have 76 drivers on top of that that have cut back by at least half. These drivers have decided they're ready to take their health back with this one step of becoming tobacco free. They're also taking their money back. Smoking is a very, very expensive habit. They're ready to take their health back. They're ready to eat better. They're ready to move more. They're ready to quit smoking, and they're ready to have some extra money in their pocket. Those are all areas that we want to support drivers in, along with the financial support that we offer.
Well, I really love this program, and I love it for a few reasons. One, you are providing people the opportunity to quit and quit at their own pace. As you said, you've had nearly 500 people reach out to you and enter the program. You're seeing the success here. Not everybody's ready to quit, as you said, immediately, but they can take it in steps. It's a process. You guys are providing the resources. And the great thing is, 2 points, as you said, the health is better, and financially, you are not buying packs or cartons of cigarettes. That's money that you're able to use in other ways. And it may be even money that you might be able to donate back to St. Christopher, right?
Well, that's true. If they wanted to take what they're saving and donate back to help a fellow driver, we would absolutely love that. Stopping smoking and having that extra money, that's like getting a pay raise. I'm just telling you.
Absolutely.
Packs of cigarettes are expensive. You could buy that $9 cup of coffee if that's what you want to spend it on, or save it up and take your spouse on vacation, put some money in a college fund for your child, whatever you want to do with that. But yes, if you'd like to give back, we absolutely would love that. We need all the support that we can get. A lot of it we get really $1 at a time. It's a lot of people doing a little bit, and that really takes the burden off of any one person or any one company. We're not going out and asking for companies for $100,000. We're saying, hey, if you can give us $5,000, that's a huge donation for us. That goes a long way for us. And so if we could get companies, especially the larger companies that have the money to spare, they can donate $5,000, and man, it keeps these programs going. It keeps Rigs Without SIGs going. It keeps the flu vaccines going. It keeps the financial support going for these drivers. It really makes a huge difference in the lives of these drivers.
And for drivers who are out there, as you mentioned, the donations of what they can afford, it all adds up. The corporate donations, everything that you're getting, and particularly the drivers who are paying it forward to those who are in situations where you have illness or injury. It all adds up, and as you said, there's a great need. The other thing about Rigs Without SIGs is we're going to be talking about this during the podcast series. You're going to hear from people who've been in the program. You're going to hear about the difference it's made in their lives, and I'm very excited to be able to share those stories. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, we've been talking about this, Shannon, how can somebody connect with you guys and enter the Rigs Without SIGs program?
You can go to our website, that is truckersfund.org, and click on the Health and Wellness tab, and that's going to take you to our Rigs Without SIGs program, and you can register online there. Julie Dillon is our Rigs Without SIGs coordinator, and she will be in contact with you to walk you through getting started with that program. She's also going to stay in contact with you throughout your process. Some stop very quickly, some it takes months, even a year before they are completely tobacco-free. And we also have a support page on Facebook. It's the Rigs Without SIGs group on Facebook. There are people that have stopped smoking, people in the process of stop smoking, and there's a lot of encouragement that goes on there. A lot of people find it very helpful to go on and say, hey, I've had a bad day. I haven't smoked in a week, but today I smoked one. And there's people there just jumping on board saying, but don't smoke another one. Get back on board. Don't fall off the wagon. Keep going. You can do this. So there's a lot of support there, and we appreciate the people that have already been through it, helping the people that are beginning the process. And so it's just nice to have that support along the way. Truckersfund.org, click on the Health and Wellness tab, and then go check out the Facebook program as well.
You're listening to the PodWheels Network's presentation of Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. The St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund is a charity that helps over-the-road regional semi-truck drivers and their families when an illness or injury occurring within the last year has caused them to be out of work. The SCF is also working to provide programs that will benefit professional drivers and the trucking industry. If you're a professional truck driver or family member of a driver who's in need of assistance following an illness or injury, please visit the organization's website at truckersfund.org. That's truckersfund.org. Over its history, the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund has raised more than $3 million through the generous support of donations by corporate sponsors, groups, and countless individuals who are part of the trucking community at large. The need for assistance for professional drivers and their families remains great. SCF is continually working to grow its donor base. If you're interested in becoming a supporter of the work done by SCF, please visit truckersfund.org and click on the Donate button. Visit the SCF website and consider making a donation today. Now let's go back to the Highway to Hope podcast on the PodWheels Network. Here's Greg Thompson and Shannon Currier.
We want to thank all our listeners for joining us right here on the inaugural edition of the Highway to Hope podcast, discussing the great work of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. We're back with Shannon Currier, the Director of Philanthropy and Development for SCF. And Shannon, as we noted at the top of the podcast, January is a time to look back and look forward. So in this part of the podcast, Shannon, I want to look forward. Let's look ahead to 2020, and let's start with what are some of your top goals for this year?
As we've been talking about in the first part of this podcast, the number of drivers that we've helped, the amount of money that we have paid out just this year, and letting everyone know, just being transparent, that we were $127,000 short of our budget for 2019. So our biggest goal in 2020 is to engage more corporate contacts. We want to secure some significant annual donations, and people hear significant and they think, oh my gosh, she's going to ask me for $25,000, $50,000, $100,000. If we could get some $5,000 donations coming in regularly throughout 2020, I would be thrilled with that. But we need to secure some significant annual donations to support these drivers. They're out there on the road making sure we have anything and everything that we need. We wouldn't have the things we have, the things we want, the things we need, without them being on the road. They need our support. We want these drivers to get back on the road. We don't want them to come off the road, lose everything, and not have a place to go back to work. That's one less driver we have on the road, and we know driver retention is an issue that we're dealing with in the industry already. A little bit of support coming from these companies that are able to offer support, it's going to keep healthier drivers. It's going to keep more drivers on the road. We want to keep those experienced drivers on the road, the ones that have been out there that love what they do. That's where they want to be. So let's make sure they can get back to that.
For sure. As you said, the industry is short drivers. Professional drivers are the backbone of the American economy, make everything move. and you guys are working with people in a time of need. And this industry is really great about rallying around people. And so I think your outreach this year, I'm very optimistic that you guys are going to make new inroads and reach your goals.
Thank you for that. We are going to go forward into 2020 with confidence that we are going to reach the right people and that they are going to be as passionate about supporting these drivers as we are. We know medical issues, a lot of times, they're not anything that are in our control. They're not anything that these drivers can help. We can all help ourselves by eating better, losing a little bit of weight, moving more. We know there are some things that people in general, we have to take those responsibilities on ourselves. But there's a lot of things that crop up, an injury, of course, that we didn't expect and didn't anticipate. We want these drivers to have a place to go to be made whole while they're not on the road. So companies that have a large income and a large profit, $5,000 goes a long way for us, but that's not a lot of money for these companies to donate. And it's a tax write-off. You're going to get to write that off at the end of the year. It's not like you're going to lose anything on that. And you're stepping in and being a company that's saying, hey, we're here to support drivers.
One of the things that we're looking at here is ways to outreach. And I know if I'm a company driver and I'm part of a fleet, can I go to my company and ask them to possibly set up a payroll deduction plan? Can you talk a little bit about the outreaches that you've got with carriers, those types of things?
Yes, we would absolutely love that. We do have some companies that are on board to support us. Again, if you go to our website at truckersfund.org, you can click on our sponsor webpage, and it's going to tell you all the companies that are currently sponsors of ours that make donations to us to support drivers. So if you want to know who's out there giving back, you can go take a look at that. We also would love for companies to offer payroll deduction. We get recommended to companies a lot. An employee will go to their boss and say, hey, I heard about St. Christopher. It's something that I think is important. Can our next fundraiser go towards St. Christopher? We've gotten a lot of donations that way. And a lot of companies, even though we've been around 11 years, they still don't know about us. I was just on a call yesterday, very large company, had no idea who we were. There's still a lot of inroads to be made with these companies. And we would love for drivers to take us back to their companies and say, hey, did you know that this charity is out here to support drivers? They are stepping in and filling the gap when we have medical issues, an injury or an illness. Can we offer a payroll deduction? Because there are drivers that would participate in that, and there are other employees that would participate in that as well. And that's an easy thing that companies can do, that it's not actually money coming out of their pocket. If you don't feel like as a company you can make a donation, you can offer a way for your employees and drivers to make a donation. And then if you want to give back, you can say, hey, as a company, we'll go in and match what the employees and the drivers donate, maybe for the quarter, maybe for the month, or maybe for the year even. Companies could go in and say, hey, we're going to match that donation. It's something that they can work hand in hand with their company. And you can always contact me. My email is shannon@truckersfund.org. And I'm happy to send any information to your company people if they want to learn more about us. So don't hesitate to ask for that as well.
Shannon, as always, we want people to go to the Donate Now button. You can find it on the front page of truckersfund.org. And for the corporate donations, for those folks that want to connect with you, please email Shannon. She'll follow up with you. And Shannon, you guys have got some great things happening in the new year. And the new year always brings some changes. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about some of the changes that are happening in the organization in terms of leadership, people on the board of directors.
We have a great board of directors and have had from day one. Just to let everybody know, our board of directors are 100% volunteer. They don't get a dime of the money that comes in. They don't get a paycheck. They don't get a bonus. They get nothing except the satisfaction of knowing that they are helping us raise awareness, raise support, and give back to drivers. They aren't getting anything. They are giving. This is not their full-time job. They have full-time jobs. Some of them very busy full-time jobs. And so we appreciate the time and energy and effort that they give to us to help us accomplish what we've accomplished in 11 years. Our biggest change this year with our board is our board president. Our board president for the last 4 years has been Tom Litkus with Travel Centers of America. He has been a fabulous leader for our board. He's actually been on the board for about 9 years and president for the last 4. He's such a nice gentleman, such a generous gentleman, and always ready to support us in any way possible. But he retired from Travel Centers of America at the end of the year. He did step down as our board president to offer someone else an opportunity that is still in the industry and working. He is not abandoning us, though. He is moving to our marketing team, and he is going to help us continue to advance our missions by being a part of the marketing teams. We want to thank Tom for all he has done for us and for drivers. He is passing the torch, and we will obviously continue to work with Travel Centers of America. That being said, stepping into our president position is Joyce Brenny with Brenny Transportation out of St. Cloud, Minnesota. She has been on our board again for several years and has been our board vice president for about 4 years. She was very willing to step into that president position, and we are so excited to have her move up from vice president to president. She is very well known in the industry, very passionate about drivers, very passionate about driver health. We are excited about how she is going to lead us into 2020 and beyond. We couldn't be more thrilled to have her at the helm.
Congratulations on the appointment of Joyce. I know of Joyce's reputation in the industry, and she's tremendous. Shannon, tell us a little bit about new board members that you guys have got coming on.
Along with Tom leaving at the end of 2019, we've also had Dave Waterman from Shell Rotella on our board for the last several years, and he is moving on from Shell Rotella and has moved to another company, and he wanted to open up his position to someone in the industry that can help us continue to grow. He left as well, and Dave has been a great support for us. We are continuing our relationship with Shell Rotella. The person taking his place at the company is going to continue their support, so we're thankful for that. Dave really made us a part of the Shell Rotella family, and so we hope that's going to continue on for years to come as well. That left 2 positions open on our board. We did want to retain the relationship with Travel Centers of America, so Patty Delmonico from Travel Centers is going to step into the board. A lot of people know about our Band Together program that we run once a year at the Travel Centers locations where they sell the bands for $1.
Oh, yeah.
She is the one who runs that program, among many others, at Travel Centers. She is stepping in to be a part of our board, and we're excited to have her. We know her well and have worked with her, obviously, for several years on that program, so we're excited to have her officially be a part of the board. One of our other supporters that has really just been growing over the last several years is Road Pro. Kim McDonald is their marketing person, and she is joining our board. She has been a part of our marketing team and is moving up to take a position on the board, and we are excited to have her. She has been so supportive, along with Joyce, supporting our Rigs Without Six program, supporting our health initiative programs, supporting us through product donations for auctions, being a part of everything that we do. And so we're excited to have Patty and Kim on board with us. I think they are 2 great additions to the board. We can't wait to see what 2020 has in store for us and to move forward with this current board. If you want to see who our board members are, we always want to let people know who our board members are, because we want you obviously to support the people that are supporting us because they're supporting you. And again, on our website, truckersfund.org, if you go to our sponsors, there's a page for that. You can click on our people, and it's going to list all of our staff members, and it's going to list all of our board members. And you can see who they are, the companies that they're with, and kind of what their background and history is with the industry.
Well, one of the things that we're going to be able to do through the Highway to Hope series, as you know, Shannon, is that we're going to get a chance to sit down and talk with Joyce and talk to your board members and get to know their story, learn about their passion for SCF, and continue the outreach and the mission that you guys have started and done such a good job with. So really looking forward to those conversations. And before we go, let's talk a little bit about future editions of the podcast. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about a few things that we'll be addressing, including health and wellness and encouraging preventive care.
Health and wellness is a big part of what we do. And like I said before, we do want to grow that in 2020. I thought I would share some of the statistics that we have from our applicant pool. You know, our applicant pool is confidential. We don't share names of any of the applicants unless they have given us permission. We do share testimonies, and you will find those on social media. You'll find those on our website. Those we've been given permission to share. Those are written by the applicants themselves and pictures are submitted by them. We've been given permission for those. But just overall, we've got some eye-opening statistics when you're talking about the value of preventative health. Okay, so preventative health being moving more, exercise, losing a little bit of weight, stopping smoking. Those are 3 huge pieces of preventative health. From our applicant pool, 85% of our applicants have cardiac issues, including, among other things, heart attack, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure. Those are the top 3 out of the cardiac issues, 85%.
Wow. And then when you think about these issues, if you can be preventative on the side, not only are you healthy, but you're saving yourself a lot of money because you're not dealing with serious medical issues.
That's correct. I preach to myself on this, okay? So I don't want anybody to think I'm preaching at them. I am on this journey with you all. And as a matter of fact, we just started a competition between the staff to have better health. And so we have a little competition going on.
Cool.
How much we exercise and better eating habits. So we are in this with you all. This is not us telling you all what to do. This is saying, hey, we all know we need to do it. Let's do it together. It makes it a whole lot easier to do it together. You know, if we lose some weight and we stop smoking and we're moving more and we're eating better, we can invest the money on the front end in those things, or we're going to have to invest it. We're going to be forced to invest it on the back end when our health is poor.
Sure. You remember the old commercials, say, pay me now or pay me later? And it just comes down to making good choices.
It does. And we know that it can be harder for drivers because they can't just jump in their car and run down to the grocery store anytime they want to, like I can, or run to the gym anytime they want to, like I could. They don't have that opportunity. So we know that it's harder for them to find the time and carve that time out of their day. But we also know that there are fuel stops like Travel Centers of America, like Pilot Flying J, that are offering workout facilities at their locations. You have to take advantage of those. Those can sit there empty all day long and it doesn't help any of us. We have to be proactive and just say, you know what, I'm going to take my health back. This is the year. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find that time during the day. I'm going to put myself on a schedule to prepare meals ahead of time or shop ahead of time. It's difficult. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's difficult. It's difficult for me, and I can jump in the car and go do it anytime I want to. It's a whole lot harder for these drivers that are on time schedules.
And in a lot of cases, pulling either a bobtail or a 72-foot vehicle.
Absolutely.
Shannon, we've covered a lot of ground here as we've launched Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. It's been just great spending time with you. I wanted to give you an opportunity to share with folks what else that we've got in the works for this series.
Thank you, Greg. I have had a great time on this launch of the Highway to Hope podcast series, and we're so appreciative to you for working with us and helping us get this out. We've talked about several things and a lot of information. There's still so much to share. It's going to take us all year to share it. You'll be meeting our board president. We're going to bring her in. We're going to bring in some of our board members to talk about why they decided to be on the board, why they partner with us. We're going to answer your most frequently asked questions. We'll be sharing news about where you can find us throughout the year, what truck shows we're going to be at, if there's a special event that's going on where you can come and say hello and we'll get to spend some face-to-face time with the drivers. And of course, we want to hear from you. We hear from the real people that have benefited from our program. So we're going to be sharing driver testimonies. We're also going to be sharing some Rigs Without Cigs testimonies from participants that are now tobacco free. There's so much to share. These are real people that have been helped, and we want to share their real stories, and we want to let them share them in those words. You really need to hear from people specifically. We're excited to be able to bring some of these folks on and share their information, share their testimonies with you all. There's so much to share. We're looking forward to spending the next year with you doing that, and we're just thankful for the opportunity.
Well, Shannon, everybody at the PodWheels Network is excited about the opportunity to be able to share the inspiring stories and just sharing the good works of SCF. I want you to close out the podcast by telling us the different ways that people can connect with SCF.
Absolutely. You can find us everywhere. We're going to make it real easy for you. You can go to our website, truckersfund.org. That is truckers with an S, fund, FUND.org. That's our website. You can find us on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. We do have a YouTube channel that really doesn't have much on it, but we are there. And you can always email us as well. You can email the office at contact@truckersfund.org, or you can email me at shannon@truckersfund.org. If you're interested in the Rigs Without Cigs program, you can email julie@truckersfund.org. And of course, all of our contact information is on the website as well. So you can pretty much find us anywhere you are. I just want to thank everyone that has joined us and is part of our mission. We can't do it without you all. $1 at a time, one driver at a time, saving lives, one family at a time. That's what we do. And we would love to have you join our mission if you are not a part of it. And we would love to have you take us back to your companies. We want to grow our support in 2020 so we can make sure we meet every need that's out there in 2020.
Once again, thank you for listening to Highway to Hope on the PodWheels Network. Highway to Hope is the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. If you'd like to learn more about SCF, or if you would like to make a donation to SCF, please visit the organization's website at truckersfund.org. That's truckersfund.org. Thanks for listening to the PodWheels Network. You can stay connected with the PodWheels Network by downloading the PodWheels app. It's available in the Apple Store and on Google Play. Just search PodWheels in either store and download the app. Be on the lookout for the next edition of Highway to Hope, and as always, stay safe out on the roads.